Hello, welcome to another ramble. Today I'm going to talk about the three brains that we have. And I think a lot of people give a lot of importance to the mind, which is obviously one form of intelligence that we need, we rely on to make decisions and to I suppose navigate through life. Like, it's a navigational system, but I feel like we give little to no importance to the other two, which is your heart and your gut. So like, I feel like the mind is mental, the heart is energetic, and the gut is your intuition. So like I said, I think we give a lot of importance to our mind. But these three brains all have their own intelligence, and they're all trying to guide you towards the experiences that you need to have in order to learn the lessons that you need to learn in order to be who you really are. This is not a well thought through thought, but I feel like a lot of times, like, we're trying to elevate ourselves. And I don't think that's really accurate. I also think we're trying to become better versions of ourselves. And I don't really think that's accurate also. I feel like we are already perfect the way we are. It's just after we're like exposed to a lot of external things, our perception changes, and then we're like making comparisons and judgments and creating perceptions, and then we're like, okay, I need to be this, I need to be that. Actually, you're perfect just the way you are. I think we need to unlearn a lot of things that we've been exposed to. We need to kind of like purge ourselves, of things of habits, of belief systems that just don't sit well with our soul, because that's what we are, right? We're souls, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. That's it. So you're perfect just as you are, and you come with all these gifts. It's been covered up with all these different ideas and perceptions of what you think you should be, when it's all inside of you. And it's really hard to like recognize it, because like I said, you've gone through life and you've adopted all these systems and all these ideas and all these perceptions. A lot of them aren't even yours, honestly. Like, think about it. We've been educated, we've been socially corralled into believing particular things, Anyways, what am I trying to say? So yeah, we give a lot of like attention to our mind, and then I think a lot of times we neglect listening to our hearts, our intuition. Those are so important. It should be the opposite way around, honestly. You should be listening to your intuition, your heart, and then your mind. Not your mind, your heart, and your intuition. So it's almost like you have to like teach yourself to operate in such a way, because the mind can get you into all kinds of like situations, that never-ending problems, never-ending desires, it just never ends, because the mind is just very hungry for these things. The heart and the intuition are quiet. They're like whispers, but they definitely have your best interest in mind, in mind. Yeah, so I don't know, I've noted that, like, because we give so much, like, we let our mind, like the mental part, take center stage, that it's really hard to hear what the heart and the intuition is saying, but they're telling you all the time. And I feel like how do I say? if you listen to your body is always telling you. And I feel like your heart and your gut definitely will talk to you through your body. So if something doesn't feel right for you, like you can feel it in your body. Think about it. So like a good example for me is like, say you eat food that is spoiled. Your body will probably have a reaction to that, and you'll probably have diarrhea or something, because it's like, oh, this doesn't feel good, like this isn't good, so it'll like give you a reaction. And if something feels good, like say you're, I don't know, eating like clean food, your body will feel good. I mean, I've experienced this firsthand. Like my body is almost like, oh my God, thank you for feeding me that avocado and drinking all that water. You know what I mean? Versus like eating that donut and drinking that Pepsi. And I'm not demonizing anyone for their dietary decisions. I'm just saying, like, if you were sensitive enough to hear what your body is saying, then you'll be sensitive enough to hear your heart and your intuition over your mind. And it's definitely a practice, I feel like the cleaner your diet is, and when I say diet, I'm not talking just food, I'm talking about where you choose to like consume, like whether it be interactions with people, environments, reading material. The cleaner your diet, the clearer your intuition and your heart will be, But I think it's definitely important to be able to tap into all three. But it's probably more important to try to get more in touch with your intuition and your heart, where else was I going with this? Oh, so when you're like making decisions in life, like say like you are indecisive and your judgment is clouded, you're confused, conflicted, usually it's because your mind is battling with what your heart and your intuition is saying. And again, this is not a well thought through thought. This is just coming off the top of my head. But I've noted that if you ask yourself, do I need this or do I want this? That should be like a really good gauge. Like your answer to that question should be a good gauge to help you to take the necessary action towards whatever it is you're conflicted about. And I feel like if there's conflict, like that's like a sign. That's a sign like, oh, I am feeling confused and conflicted and clouded in my judgment right now. So maybe it's not good for you. If there's hesitation, or if that's your intuition. If there's hesitation, that's your intuition saying, this probably isn't good for you. Like for instance, and this has happened to me, like say I go to a restaurant and the food doesn't look fresh. Like it's really obvious. Like it doesn't look it's not, how do I say? Energetically, it just doesn't look like it's fresh. Like it just looks kind of like 5-day-old leftovers. You can kind of tell. I don't know if you can tell, but I can tell. Like immediately when something is put before me, I'm like, ooh, that doesn't look fresh. That just looks like, rotten matter. And I don't really want to eat that. Yeah, that's like your intuition telling you, like, that's not good for you. So already when you're feeling hesitation, that's kind of like your intuition telling you, like, oh, that's probably not good for you. So you should probably listen to it you know? But yeah, like another, I guess, method could be like, do I need this or do I want this? A lot of times you just want it, but you don't need it, you know? And so I just feel like we've been so accustomed to consuming things we want, you know? It's like almost like, again, you have to reprogram yourself to step away and say, you know what, I don't need this. I want it, but I don't need it, you know? So another thing that I practiced today, which was very new to me, was I was lying on my bed and I had my eyes closed, but I was still like conscious and awake and aware, but my eyes were closed, and I was listening to my inner dialogue, and it actually prompted a conversation between my mind, my heart, and my intuition. And I listened to each one, and it's funny, the mind was so loud. It's like an extrovert, like just dying to just like share its ideas, and oh yeah, I have like an opinion for everything. Like, you know, my mind was very loud. It's like, oh yeah, I'm on center stage right now, and I definitely, I'm gonna like just talk. When I went to my heart space and my intuition, I was like really quiet, like really quiet, like I could barely hear them. And I know this sounds silly, but I was like, oh, I can hardly hear you, like, and they're like, oh yeah, because we're used to you not listening to us, we're used to you just listening to your mind. And I was like, holy shit, that's like an eye-opener. And then I was just like, well, I want to listen to my heart and my intuition more. And that goes to show that I've just been giving too much attention, too much has been put towards like my brain, like my mind, you know? So yeah, if you're struggling, just be aware that you have 3 different brains: the mind, the heart, the intuition. And we've been definitely programmed to just like operate predominantly from the mind, but your heart and your intuition are definitely more important, and we definitely overlook these things, you know? Some people, like, I feel like operate predominantly from the heart, but then that's like imbalance too. I feel like you should be able to, like, first and foremost intuition, then the heart, and then the mind, and then you can make like sound decisions that sit right with your soul. Anyways, that's all I had to say about that. If you learned something cool, if you didn't, that's cool too. Blessings to one and all.